Hey guys, it's Jake here with eTrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the B&W Companion fifth wheel sliding hitch. This sliding fifth wheel hitch is typically designed for your short bed trucks. The reason we've got it in our long bed truck here, this is an 8-foot bed truck. The owner of this vehicle had this in their old vehicle that they had a short bed and a B&W Gooseneck installed in it. So it just goes to show you can carry this hitch from truck to truck and it's going to fit all of them. The reason why you typically want to pair this with a short bed truck is because you're going to have 12 inches of travel from where it is right now. You flip this lever. When your trailer is hooked up to it, you can pull the manual override on your brakes, and what it'll do is it'll lock the brakes on your trailer. You can pull forward. It'll shift this entire hitch to the back, 12 inches back, giving you more cab clearance so you can make tighter turns. Lots and lots of campgrounds are getting tighter and tighter because they're trying to get more and more campsites to fit in those campgrounds. So depending on where you're going to have to back the trailer in or even make some turns sometimes, if you're turning super, super tight and your cab is getting close to the front nose of your camper, you can lock this in the back position, make your turns around the campground that you need to, get your camper in the spot, and then push it back forward and then unhook your camper. Another good reason to use a sliding fifth wheel hitch is, and the reason why they're also using it is because they have the Lippert Rhino box on the front of their camper, which is, if you know what it is, it's a very, very short pin box. It was designed for more compact. It makes it so that the pin box doesn't stick way out, but it makes it very difficult to turn because you're taking away several inches that you could have used to be able to not make contact with the cab of your truck. So even though this is an 8-foot bed, hooking the Rhino box up to this, it's still pretty close to making contact with the cab of our truck. So by getting some more of that space with our sliding fifth wheel here, they're not going to have to worry about ever making contact with the cab. You're going to have your pins here on the side that you can pull, lift up on your spring-loaded handles. You can take the head off. This hitch is very, very heavy. It's somewhere in upwards of over 200 pounds total for the whole hitch. So you will want to be sure to take the head off. That'll eliminate a lot of weight, but I would recommend getting some sort of lifting device in your garage or somewhere at your house so that you can lift this thing out, pull your truck out, and then set it on a pallet or something like that to be able to store it when you're not using it. You can get it in and out, but it usually takes us at work here at least 2 people, if not 3 or 4, to be able to lift it out comfortably, and that's without the head. This lever here is probably one of my favorite features about this hitch is because it comes all the way out to the side of our truck. This is a Chevy 3500, so they do sit pretty high. You can usually reach this handle pretty easily. This chain and pin is usually the more difficult part about this, but if you get this pin pulled, you set it out, you can open up these jaws, and it is spring loaded so that whenever you're unhooking, this should stay open. If it doesn't, there is another pinhole on the back side that you can take the same pin, drop this pin in the pinhole, and then unhook your trailer. You just pop it right in there. These jaws will not close and you can get out from your trailer. You'll see here we have a very, very thick jaw that will close around your kingpin. It's going to be 360 degrees of contact, and that is very, very important when pulling a trailer down the road. You don't want any gaps or anything like that in there. You want it to be a nice sound connection, and when this pin is put in place, you're ready to hit the road, and you will not have any issues when you're towing your trailer. When you're hauling a fifth wheel, you have to do one of 2 things. You either have to use grease or you have to use a lube plate on the top here. Well, if we had grease all over this, you'd be making a mess. If you're trying to load and unload stuff out of the bed of your truck, you've got to worry about getting dirty on this. You can see there's a little bit of wear and tear on the paint. That's because the owner of this vehicle has been using this hitch for a couple months now. They've been using a lube plate, so you can see how well the lube plate, first off, keeps it nice and clean and also takes care of the paint job so you don't have to worry about rust and corrosion later on down the road. That brings me to my next point. B&W has a very, very solid powder coating on any of their stuff, but especially this gray powder coat. It's going to be the same powder coat that's on their gooseneck hitches. It lasts for a very, very long time. Obviously, any of the contact points, the points where this lever is going to hit the paint here, or if you forget your lube plate or something like that, it's going to tear the paint up anytime you have metal on metal contact. You'll see here on the insides of the jaws, there's a little bit of paint chipping, but that's gonna happen when you've got steel rubbing against steel. No paint job is gonna last when it comes to that. So it just goes to show you take care of your stuff and it's gonna take care of you. If you wanted to service, put some white lithium grease on these rails, you can do that. But other than that, you will always have your trailer hooked up when you're sliding this hitch. So all you have to do is grab this lever from the outside of your truck, flip it forward, and then slide the hitch back. This lever is gonna lock into place, and now you're ready to maneuver your trailer without having to worry about your cab being hit with your trailer. When you're ready to put your trailer back, you do the exact opposite process of what you did to get it to slide back. So you'll lock your brakes with your manual override, and then you're going to back up to the trailer. You'll pull this lever back up to your trailer. That'll cause the hitch to slide back forward, and you're able to drive home wherever you need to drive. You do have to drive with it in the forward position. You cannot drive with it in the rearward position. If you had to just kind of tool around the campground a little bit to get a better angle or a better shot at what you're trying to back up into, you could probably do that, but you don't want to go highway speeds or anything like that with it in the rearward position. The reason for that is because you can see where our pin is going to be right here. That is directly over top of our axle, or pretty close to directly over top of our axle. If we have our hitch back here, we are now like 14 inches behind our axle, 12 to 14 inches behind our axle. That is going to put in an incredible amount of strain on our suspension and other components. So you want to make sure that it's slid up before you take off down the road. The way that you're going to get this fifth wheel hitch secured in the bed of your truck is you'll need to first take out the gooseneck ball out of your B&W turnover ball. If you do not have that hitch already installed, we do have a kit that includes this and the gooseneck hitch with it so that you can drop this into its place. This is going to have the same style shank that the gooseneck ball has, which is that square style shank. What you'll do is you'll take that gooseneck ball out. This you'll drop down into that square hole. Before securing it, you'll want to line up your rubber bumpers on the bottom of your rails into the corrugations of your truck so that it has a nice firm place to sit. And then you can loosen the nut that is inside underneath this head here. You're going to loosen that up, lock your pin as if you're locking your gooseneck ball into place, and that pin is attached to a loop that goes down into that square hole. What it does is your pin will lock, and then that loop grabs the bottom of that pin, and when you torque down this nut to the specifications, or the bolt to the specifications that is listed on top of the big washer that's there, when you do that, it's going to crank down and suck this hitch down to the bed of your truck so that you don't have any vibration or any movement when you're driving down the road. Something else that they did with this particular hitch that I like that a lot of other brands do not do is that underneath these pins, just to kind of reduce the amount of noise, underneath this head, you can lift it up, and there's rubber bushings right here, so that's what it's riding on to be able to make it nice and quiet for you and to have a smoother operation. This right here, it may not seem like a super important component, but this little spring makes a world of difference. The rubber bushings help with the noise and to make it really smooth so you don't hear and feel all the banging and stuff. But that little spring-loaded pin that's installed on the back side, what it's designed to do is, one, it will keep your fifth wheel head level so it can't go past level. So there's a lot of hitches out there that if you back up to your trailer or something and you hit the brakes, or maybe you're on an uphill slope and you're backing up to your trailer, this head's going to want to sit like this, and it's very difficult to hook up to your trailer. What you end up having to do is you have to have somebody hold onto this handle, tilt it back, and that is very dangerous while you're backing up to your trailer. That little spring-loaded pin will help to keep this level, if not, lean it forward or lean it back so that you can get hooked up to your trailer. But it's also going to keep this head under control while you're driving down the road. If you've ever hauled a fifth wheel in the bed of your truck without the trailer and you hit the brakes, you will know how annoying it is. Every time you hit the brakes and every time you hit the gas, that whole head's gonna knock back and forth. Anytime you hit a bump, it's gonna knock. And it just sounds like there's something going wrong with your truck, and it's just the head. B&W thought about it. and they've got this thing locked into place. You don't even know this thing's back here when you're driving without your trailer. When you're setting up this fifth wheel, or any fifth wheel for that matter, you will want to make sure that the bottom of the nose of your camper and the top of your bed, there's at least 6 inches of space there. That is for the articulation of your truck. The fifth wheel head is designed to articulate side to side a little bit. And what that 6 inches does, it gives you space so that your truck can move independently from the camper and not have to worry about the bed rails damaging the nose of your camper. To help with that, this hitch, the head height is adjustable in these uprights here from 17 inches off the bottom of your bed to 19 inches. And that is from the top of the corrugation. Don't measure on the inside of the corrugation, the low part. It's from the top. So you've got 3 inches of adjustment there, 17 at the lowest, 19 at the highest. And it's in 1 inch increments, so you got 17, 18, and 19 inches here. If you cannot get it lined up with your camper so that you have the 6 inches and your camper is level, you may want to check with the pin box on your camper, and you can raise and lower that in order to achieve the towing height that you're looking for. Now, as far as weight capacities go for this particular hitch, you're going to have a max towing capacity of 20,000 pounds. That is the trailer that you have behind it, and then all the gear that you have inside of it. So make sure you check with the GVWR and make sure that you have figured all that weight in. I always recommend people take their camper to a cat scale or something like that, take it to a weigh scale, get it weighed so you actually know what your camper weighs. The other thing that they can do is they can measure your trailer with, or measure your rear axle weight on your truck with the trailer and without it, and that way you know the pin weight. The pin weight on this particular hitch, the max capacity, is going to be 5,000 pounds. So just be sure to, again, check it. They can tell you all that stuff at a cat scale. Make sure that your camper is loaded correctly. If you're still under the GVWR of the camper, but you're over 5,000 pounds, the only thing you may have to do is just shift some stuff to the back of the camper. So just get to know your camper a lot better so that you can haul it safely down the road. Hopefully this video helped you decide whether or not the B&W Companion sliding fifth wheel hitch is right for you in your truck and trailer setup.